Check. This gentleman is an absolute hooligan, and I'm so happy to make his acquaintance because he plays in one of the finest bands in the world with our very dear friend Mark King in Level 42. And I quickly took the opportunity to play with him in other settings. We did the Dhaka International Jazz Festival. And when I opened my club in Bombay Makossa, Sean was there at the opening. So, put your hands together for the incredible Sean Freeman, tenor saxophone. And last but not least, of course, is my dearest friend and brother. He is my family, my musical family, and my human being family. And I've had the good fortune to play with him for almost 15 years now. And I will safely say I would not be the musician I am today had I not been exposed to his mind and music and rhythm and genius and life force. And that band, Fourth Dimension, and these brothers of mine made me who I am today. I may have had some, little nugget that was ready to be polished. They polished it, and there will only ever be one. Étienne on bass and vocals.
Hello all, my name is Étienne, bass player from France, originally from Cameroon. I'm here in India, and you guys are listening to Stalwarts of Music.
Hi, my name is Sean Freeman. I play saxophone. I'm coming from Holland, originally from England, and you're listening to Stalwarts of Music.
Hi, Étienne.
Hello, how you doing, Aditya?
Very well. Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Welcome to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera in a live format podcast edition at Windmill Craftworks. We are backstage. What do you feel like being here at Windmills?
Great, as usual. As great as I feel when I come in India. I think I'm on my, really, to be honest, kind of 12th, even more, 12th trip in India.
Incredible.
So yeah. So I know a little more about India. Always happy to be here, play great music, meeting great people, and buying some clothes as well,
Oh,
and some
wow.
jewelry.
We'll talk about
and,
it.
And the food is just slamming. Hey, so I'm really
Marvelous.
happy
Marvelous.
being here.
Sean, did you get enough sleep last night?
Sleep and me are not really good friends. So, it's kind of, well, you get some when you need some. But I'm focused on just getting the music right and having a good time. And that we're all having a good vibe on the stage, And it's such a wonderful thing that Ranjit's thrown together, If we can do this. It's lovely to be in India again. And like Étienne, I adore Indian cuisine. And to compliment the windmills, the food here has been fantastic.
Marvelous.
And the American IPA is amazing.
I'm sure people are going to try that out tonight. But I have a very interesting agenda planned for the two of you. Shall we get started?
Let's do
Let's
it.
go.
Alrighty. So Étienne, talking about bass players from Cameroon that include names such as Armand Lecco,
Yes,
Richard
Sabaleko,
Bona,
yeah.
and yourself, right?
Okay.
So you all are self-made musicians who've been passionate, having early musical sensibilities. You've built your own instruments. I feel a common strand between you and Mr. Bona is the fact that curiosity was a major factor. And you have a lot of commonalities in terms of development as musicians also. Do you still see the same kind of talent coming out of Cameroon at this point of time? And how is it different from the mid-60s when you all were growing up?
Oh, talking about talents, there are always talents, not only in Cameroon. But in Cameroon, we just were blessed by some elder
Okay.
brothers
Okay.
who by that time lived in pretty much in Europe and in the United States too.
Yeah.
And they taught us without even knowing us, the generation I am from. And Richard is a little more younger than me.
Yeah.
And they taught us in a school without walls, We just love their playing, and in a traditional Cameroonian music called the Makossa, and they were playing some things that we were like, what? I mean, what is this? So we all just copy our elder brothers, trying to sound like pretty much all of them. And so that gives a kind of level of, and between us, of course, they were, my favorite is this one, no, my favorite is this one. As it is today for me, for Richard Bona, for Armand Sabaliko, and many more. And when I go back in Cameroon, I have my team, Richard got his team, and, that's, it creates what we call in French emulation, between young musician, young talent, and they're improving a lot. And of course, today, shall I say, they're blessed more than we were, because today with internet, they can see me in India. There's a video, if you do it direct, they will see it in Cameroon,
Of course.
And but by that time, for us, they weren't that kind of technology. So they're blessed, so they're improving, and the level is so high, you wouldn't believe it, really. So more talent are coming. They're going to show up soon, hopefully.
Well, we can't wait to see them in India. They're going to be very well received. So Sean, let's talk about some of the first bursts of creativity the young little boy Sean had experienced back in the day.
Probably punching my brother, my big brother, because he always tormented me. Now, well, yeah. I started playing the alto saxophone when I was 13.
Okay.
My father was a huge jazz fan,
Oh.
and very, very enthusiastically pushed me into music. If I didn't practice every day, I got a good, old school. And then after a few years, I switched to the tenor, and that's probably because I just the sound is so beautiful. It seems to cover a wider terrain, although that's not the case.
Yeah.
You still have the same sort of range on the tenor, on all of the saxophones, actually.
Right.
But the low ends got gravitas, and it's got that bass thing.
Yeah.
And you can still get into the lofters. You can still really get into the clouds with the high end of the thing.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been in my sort of almost my DNA. Since that age, I just wanted to be a saxophone player.
Okay.
Not particularly associated with anything in particular, but
Yeah.
creative. I'm not so sure I love the terminology jazz, but creative music.
Okay.
That's the thing for me.
I think the saxophone chose you rather than the other way around.
Could be. It was a real toss-up between trumpet. I've always loved the trumpet, you know. And especially when we travel. Now, I think, oh, crap, you know, I chose the wrong instrument. Because the saxophone's a major pain to not as bad as the bass. The bass is a real pain, but saxophone's a big old lump, you know. And then you've got to fart them out with reeds and stuff like that. But you know, the trumpet's a nice little small thing. But then you've got this thing that the trumpet player has to do a million times every day. So every instrument's got its cross to bear, you know. Just depends what that cross is.
Got it. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Étienne, I've noticed something very different, you know, in terms of your outfit or your attire, shall we say, in terms of being a bass player. You're flamboyant, you love your scarves. But another interesting facet is the fact that you wear gloves while playing the bass, right? So was it a personal revelation to someone like you? Or did you see measurable impact in terms of performance when you wore the gloves?
Oh, you know, I didn't really think about the impact that would have on people or whatever.
Okay.
I just was doing some research when I studied. I had a chance to study a little bit of classical guitar.
Okay.
When I came in France by the year 1978, and in guitar, you know, you play one finger on every fret.
Right.
And time to time, I was given some exercises that I used to cover my hand, you know, with a little towel, you know, and not to look at my finger, to watch my finger, you know, actually moving, you know.
Right.
And I just noticed that was giving a kind of special sounding, special tone to the instrument, to the classical guitar. So I was doing my research, as every young musician can do, and trying to find his own way. And I just noticed that working on the bass, working my exercises, and covering my hand gave the same sounding that I heard when I was younger. And once I just tried, they were a pair of gloves that belong, I think, to my wife or my sister. I don't know. You know, I think my wife, because I heard it, because they were gloves made of wool, and after like 3 minutes, you know, they were, you know, they broke, you know, and my wife came back and said, and I'm like, well, I'll buy you another one, you know. And she actually recommended, said, why don't you want to play with glove? Why don't you try the silk glove? So, silk glove? What is that? So you can find that in sport, in mountain stores. And why don't you just try that? I tried them on. I found my size. And all of a sudden, I adopted that gloves. And because they were giving me really a sound that I wanted to, you know, that's familiar to me in my ear. Smoother, bigger, and taking sometimes off the fret noise when you're practicing, when you're playing, especially when you're playing in the studio. And you have something really hard to play, it makes that kind of noise. So it takes it off a bit, you know. And hey, I just adopted it, saying that I love that. So there are a lot of stories on that glove. I'm not going to tell you the main reason. I mean, but and
Well,
also
we're meant to keep secrets too, yeah.
and so those gloves are just a part of me now. I've been playing with that for some more than 26, 27 years, and they're part of my sounding, my you know, and so I just love them, and of course, let the story being told or whatever. I read so many things on the internet. Yeah, he's wearing that because he got some secret things from Africa, blah, 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 blah. I love those stories.
Some kind of magic, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, but we try to create magic anyway, so.
I think you know, creating that proclivity of interest beyond the mystical is what is important, and I think you do it in a very, very impeccable way as a musician.
I'm trying every night to do, you know, and to, you know, that's a part of my job, being honest and play and groove, and, you know, that's it.
Lovely, lovely. Sean, let's talk about the topic of interest, Bombay Makossa. So, what is your creative process like in a setting, specifically speaking about Bombay Makossa? What is it like? What's your process like when you work with them?
Well, firstly, I have to compliment you on your vocabulary. Proclivity, that was not a word expected to come out of your mouth. Whatever, it's wonderful to see a broad vocabulary. Bombay and Makossa. My understanding that Makossa is referring to the Cameroonian, the sort of African side of things, and the Bombay, of course. Then, if we want to say who's covering what base, you know, it doesn't work like that. But you could say then, okay, hey, Étienne is covering with the bass, and of course with that beautiful voice of his, that side of things. Around you, there's the rhythmic master, the rhythmic illusions that he's creating, have us. jaw dropped every night. And they're in that tapestry, we're all trying to weave in and out other elements. You've also got Nastia G, who's bringing her incomparable talents. It seems that she plays everything. I think she practices in her sleep. 'Cause she can play everything. Oh, I can play saxophone. She shows me a video, and I'm like,
Lovely.
what? And she's a master of many instruments.
Right.
And I have to be perfectly honest. For me, I remember thinking, hey, there's no piano. Hey, there's no guitar. And it filled me with, I wouldn't say fear, but then you go, ooh, So a lot of this music is weaving down many winding harmonic terrains. So then it gives us a challenge, you could say, on one hand. It gives us also a freedom, you could say, on the other hand, to then you're not limited by C9. Hey, you want to go and do something else? You can do that.
Yeah.
You've got to cover that as well. Though. So it gives a freedom, and with that freedom, it's our job to then take it somewhere. And the audience last night were wonderful, by the way.
All right.
And it gave us back a lot of energy to then go, okay, so it's going to be like this. So take some of this. Let's see what tonight brings.
I can't wait for it. That being said, I think the beauty of this unit as a whole is the fact that you guys complement each other in a very beautiful way, right? Like you give space to each other, and everyone's given prominence in a band like Bombay Makossa, and I think that's a very unique thing I've noticed from last night's performance, and I must compliment you all for that.
Thank you.
Wherein
Thank you. So much. Thank you.
You appreciate each other's musical abilities in the form of a conversation. Right?
That's exactly what we're trying to create on stage, giving that space, maybe that, we don't have a guitar filling with a wah-wah pedal and a distortion. We don't have a keyboard who's, doing all this poetry or
Right.
that we love actually in other bands.
Right.
So the band is kind of, there's a lot of space, that we have to feel smart, shall I say, until, to be smart and to listen to each other and to take care time to time to each other. You see, right? I'm used to that with Ranjit Bai. We played for 13 years with John McLaughlin, and so we take care not only on stage, we take care of each other. When we go in a restaurant, I don't order. Ranjit order for me. He knows what I like. You see what I mean? Especially when we're in India, but it could be in India, even in Europe. He would say, Étienne, well, how about this? You just order. He knows everything, and that's Ranjit. He's taking care of us, really in a really good way.
Sure.
That's good for players. Playing is not only being on stage. Playing when we are together at a dinner, we still play.
Of course.
There's still music around, see, and to make everybody feel comfortable. So I think that's what you people actually felt are feeling when we're playing. They feel that love. Music is love as well. We love each other, we respect each other, we want to listen to, our mind is blown by each other, like, whoa, where is he going tonight? Whoa, where is he taking us tonight, And we love that feeling of create instantaneously at the moment and to lift the level and, that's it.
Talking about, your early days, I believe you moved to France when you were 13 and a half years old?
Yeah, I was almost for 14, yeah.
Yeah. So coming from a place like Cameroon, you would have had traditional values.
Yeah.
And this must have been a very overwhelming urban lifestyle you would have experienced at that point of time. So what different perspectives did that move or that transition teach you? And did you have to tailor some of your traditional values, or did you have to give up on some of that, being in the business?
No, I don't. Values are values. When you're raised by in a great family, shall I say?
Okay.
My father and my mom, they were really into these values. Like first of all, you got to show respect for whatever you do. Show some respect.
Right.
Try to learn the maximum you can. With people around you. That's how I studied guitar. There's no school of music still today in Cameroon. Maybe there are some, there's an old teacher who studied a little bit in France who's giving lesson in his house. But there's no administrative school with that. No. As far as I know, there is not. No.
Is that a political reason for that, or is it?
Shall I say, it's not a political. It's absence of politic by that side.
Okay.
I think for the head of state, Oh, you're a musician. Then play. What do you need a school for? It's
Okay.
like you want to play soccer. Then play. They don't understand that you can study to play soccer in a school,
Yeah.
football,
Yeah.
and trying to do your exercise and trying to and become better. It's like, hey, you want to play music? There's music all around. Play. Look at this guy. He's playing tom tom. He's playing.
Yeah.
Did he go to school? No. Why do you want us to build a school for? There's that kind of little. So as far as since I left it for
Yeah.
6 years, still there's not official
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
of music today. So.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing with the politician, but let them do their job. I'm doing mine. And concerning the values, my dad and mom, they gave me the values, and that are still carried today. That are still in me today. So nothing really changed. What I have to say is that reaching French, I learned some other things that I didn't know, and that at the time I consider myself like a perfect ignorant. I didn't know who the Beatles were.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
Who's listening to the Beatles in Cameroon? Who? Then I realized that my elder cousin, like 10 years more than me, they used to listen to, I heard this song, Let It Be, Let You Be, Let You Be. Oh, that's Let It Be from the Beatles. Oh, I heard the bang, bang, bang. Oh, is that I Can Get? No, from the, I happen to know that when I reached Europe, I did, what, Rolling Stone? They used to listen to, my dad, Louis Armstrong, that was jazz. You see what I mean? Louis Armstrong and, singing Ella Fitzgerald. Yeah, a little bit of classical music. I remember I have an anecdote. My dad sometimes on Sunday would play whatever, Beethoven, symphony. My grandma would be, cooking somewhere and say, what kind of music is that? I mean, it's just playing.
Yeah.
At no moment people are dancing. Say, that's classical, European classical music. You never dance that, Say, okay, you can dance, but in a ballet, opera, whatever. But dance as we do in Africa, you don't do that on Beethoven. You see what I mean? So there are pretty much so many things that I learned, and also modern jazz. I didn't know who Miles Davis were when I
What?
came. No.
Really?
No,
Okay.
I didn't know. Nor his first quintet, his second quintet, whatever. So all this came to me like that. I was 14, 16 years old, and I had to swallow everything like, I'm ignorant. I don't know Led Zeppelin. I don't know the beat. That's how I discovered, actually. And people don't know that side of me, less of people, that I discovered also rock pop music, like Led Zeppelin, like hard rock. The year I came to France, that was the Highway 12 by AC/DC. And my friend at school, they listen to that and say, what kind of music is that? Like, I don't know where I can dance, but there's so much energy. And believe it or not, I played in a hard rock band when I
Wow.
was young.
Do you have those videos? Can we find rare
No, I
videos on the
don't think
internet?
by that time, believe me, they were pretty rare. So I kept this in me. One of my favorite bands in the world,
Okay.
is
Okay.
Queen.
Oh.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury forever.
Oh,
This
wow.
is my, so creative, so out of, I love, and I discovered so many things, and I just carry the little knowledge that I had. I swallow all the things, learn from, music school, friends, blah, blah, blah. They taught me everything, and hey, here I am today. And when you add that, you add some trips like voyage, you're traveling musician here in India, or meeting John McLaughlin. All of a sudden, I know what the corner call is. I'm like, whoa. So I know all these odd number, time signature, that we don't have that in Africa.
Okay.
No, in Africa, you play in 11, they'll say, you're crazy? Who's going to dance? Because music day is related to, you have to move. Corporal, movement, But when it's 11 or 13, it turns a little bit like you're playing rugby. This rugby ball. It turns a little bit like this.
I know what you're saying.
So,
Yeah.
so Sean is going to take some more.
So let's talk about 2006 to 2012 that witnessed some lineup changes during that point of time, right?
Okay.
And the release of Retroglide.
Yeah, right. So I guess the lineup change you're talking to was there was a keyboard player called Lyndon Connor was playing.
Correct.
And he was a good friend of mine. And there was just changing of the guard that occurred at that time. Mike Linda came back into the situation.
Okay.
And really the recording of that album, Mark and Mike, I believe, co-wrote the new material.
Yeah.
And it's the way these days, traditionally people were getting together and recording and rehearsing and doing it all in the room, and a lot of stuff is remotely recorded these days. and that was certainly the way it was. But actually, that said, I did come down to the island to record the saxophone parts
Okay.
for Mark then, and there was one following album after that, which was the Sirens, I believe.
Yeah.
That came out. I can't recall which year it was. A few years later. You know, Mark's catalogue then is something like the Level 42 catalogue is something like 16 albums strong. You know,
Right.
You've got so much music there to choose from. And I believe that's it. You know, there are ongoing remixes and stuff going on, but you're really speaking to the wrong guy about any more information about that, because I simply don't know.
Fair enough. Well, I've always wondered. You also played for pop settings, right? Like,
Sure.
have you? I believe I read somewhere you played for Boyzone at some point in time. Is that
Yeah,
right?
for my sins, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I wanted to know, what is it like to play the saxophone for a pop setting when you're primarily known for, a setting like jazz or more creative music in your own aspect? Yeah.
Simply said, most people's passion are in one direction. I mean, my passion is the saxophone. I love
Okay.
to play the saxophone, whatever it is. But there are some things, if it's creative music, then my eyes are like so. If it's something I don't particularly want to play, well, that's it. You have to look at it as a means to an end, And the reality is sometimes the more commercial work pays well, and some of the other work doesn't. And if you can achieve a balance between the two, you look at any of the big players, they've all done other studio work. There are your Keith Jarrett's and your purists who won't touch that. Bob Berg, I believe, wouldn't record a pop solo for people. He was just, he was talk about Stalwarts. He was a stalwart jazz musician, a die-hard Coltrane disciple, and a magnificent player, also one of my heroes. And not to say that that's wrong, but look at Michael Bradley, who was my real number one hero and has been for so many years.
Right.
An absolute pantheon of albums that he's recorded. I think he's been on nearly 1,000 albums. By the time I became aware of him, which was also bizarrely the release of his solo album, that was in 1987, Michael Brecker on Impulse Records. He'd already recorded on 400 albums as a guest man,
My goodness.
a sideman, and everyone from Aerosmith to Zappa, Carly Simon and Frank Sinatra. So just and who's to say that that's demeaning or what? It certainly looks after the bottom line in terms of money.
Yeah.
But was it Duke Ellington said? There are only two types of music that exist. Really fundamentally, good music and bad music. And I've come to learn in 40 years of experience. You can learn something from every situation.
Okay.
Even if it is only not to do that again. Not to put yourself in that situation or what. Étienne talked about the camaraderie that we have, and it is true. It becomes like a family.
Yeah.
And that interaction that we have when we're being considerate to each other, opening the door, and let me help you with this like you do for a family, We're a unit, we kind of eat, sleep, and breathe as one. And that transcends onto the stage and hopefully out to you guys when we play. So, I hope that helps.
Well, you did mention something called good music and bad music.
Right.
So, how do you define good music, and at what point does music become bad to someone like you, Étienne and Sean?
You want to go first?
Yeah. That's a heavy question. Bad music is, for me, actually, the term bad. I don't like it that much. Shall I say music that I prefer, that I love.
Yeah.
For me, it's a very good music. There are some music that it's not I hate, but that I don't listen to because it doesn't have nothing attracts me there. Nor the singing if there's a vocal, nor the melodies, nor the nothing. But I can. I can assume that some people get interest in this kind of music, So for me, I wouldn't say that's bad music. It's just music I don't listen to, you know. Yeah. So it's not because, and if they call me to play that, I will say I don't know what I can do with this because to play something, I have to feel it. I have to get something coming from my heart and maybe my soul. Then I can achieve something really good. If I don't feel like it, I would just say I can't hear it. I can't dance on it. I can't groove on it. There's nothing I can do with it. So some people may call it bad music. For me, it's just music that I don't listen to because for me it's kind of empty. You know, there's nothing that touches me there. So for me, hey, go. Maybe there's some other people that will love you, but me, I'm not interested. So, but good music, you feel it. You know, you want to dance, you want to, Earth, Wind and Fire. That's good music. What are you talking about? Level 42. That's very good music. You see what I mean? Yeah. So, and are we trained to listen to things? So some things are on another or some other thing. I don't know, but our body, our mind make the selection. Like, oh, what is it people like? And sometimes I'm trying to see. I'm like, maybe it's not my generation. I don't know. You know, like people used to say when the rock and roll came, the Rolling Stone, when they came, people said, "What is this?" You know, I don't want to say the bad word, but you see, what is this crap? You know, and so some music touched me, and some other don't. That's it.
Fair enough.
I would just second what Étienne said. Firstly, I use that as a quote. That's from the wonderful Duke Ellington, and that was his quote. But just to reiterate, it's subjective. That's the key word there. It is subjective. Who's to say that what I like and he doesn't like, who's right or wrong? It doesn't work like that. It is, on the other hand, like food. You could say, "Oh, I don't like curry," and it doesn't mean that you're wrong or you're right. I love curry. I adore curry. But if you want to compare, there are many comparisons with music and food. If you want to talk about improvisation, you learn the standards, cutting the onion and adding the garlic and and the ginger and stuff. And then so we've got a base going on there. We're going to put some garam masala in. We're going to put some cumin in. And then where do we want to go? We want to go. We want to go Vindaloo style. You want to go creamy. You want to go Madras. We want to go. That's. We learn the scales, we learn the chords and the music and stuff. Where we go with it then, it's a bit like a cook, You can be creative. And just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you're wrong.
Yeah, totally.
It's subjective.
So let's talk about Bombay Makossa. So could you talk a little bit about the evolution and what was the vision like when you all started back in the day, and how has it doubled or multiplied right now in terms of possibilities?
I think Ranjit Bai, as I call him, had the concept, actually, Ranjit is very interested in what's happening around all the world, the entire world.
Okay.
And music-wise, And Ranjit loves, I didn't know when I met him that he loved so much Youssou N'Dour from Senegal. That he loved so much. He used to sing to me some album I recorded with Salif Keita from Mali. So you know that? I say, yeah, sure, And not only I know that, but time to time I'm really inspired with he would play some groove and sing, wow, you really listen to it. So he knows what he's talking about. Sure. Meeting me from Cameroon, I'm pretty much the same, When I am in India, of course, India is going to inspire me. What do you think? I wrote some songs that are, according to me, I never studied Indian classical music. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I took some element from India that some spices, that I put on my own music. Like, this sounds pretty much like Indian, and so Ranjit has the concept of that. He was thinking about who to make it with. Say, of course, Étienne Mbappé. We're playing together. We are bass and drum. The love story between bass and drums. And who else can, he thought about Yush Srinivas, that I knew only playing with Shakti, And Yush Srinivas came, did his thing. But Ranjit wrote pretty much all the material. He would say, Étienne, look, I wrote this. Do you think it's more... Does it sound more African? Say, yeah, sure. Yeah. Can you write some lyrics on it? Yeah, sure. Okay. What is the melody? He would give me the melody. I would write on it. And Srinivas would come and play, blah, 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 blah. Right after the album was out, we know Srinivas G passed. Yeah. And we were like, no, that can't be. You see what I mean? Oh. Like, that can be right there. We're about to achieve something. Boom. Yeah. So when Srinivas is gone, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call? To suffer that, to get that spirit that we, that was in the recording, in the record actually. Okay. What are you going to do? So, being here, Ranjit Bhai tried so many things, and maybe just say, wow, okay, we saw it later on. You see what I mean? Okay. And all of a sudden, we're coming back with a new, shall I say, Bombay Makossa, okay, with Sharon Freeman and Nastia G. Okay. Nastia G, I didn't know. Yeah, of course, Ranjit told me about her a long time ago. Yeah. At least I said, whoa, where's she from, you know? Because with the light on stage, you don't see if she's Indian, whatever, you know. She sits pretty much like Indian does. She plays the violin, and you're like, whoa. All of a sudden, you know, being here, I discover Nastia G. I'm saying, wow, is that possible? To play the violin while you're coming from Russia, you're here and you're playing the violin like that, you know? And for me, I really like the emptiness of the music.
Okay.
That means fill it with love, fill it with whatever you want to.
Okay.
You don't need a piano. You don't need, you know, if it feels empty, then maybe let it empty. You know, I love the concept that, you know, Ranjit brought to say, we're going to do it. You know, and that's pretty much what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And Sean fits perfectly in it. Nastia G fits perfectly in it. And we're starting to know each other and trying to say, hey, there's something cooking here, you know? We still got some more spice to add, some more whatever. But it's a delicious concept, you know, that you can feel on stage because there's a lot of love, you know? There's a lot of engagement, shall I say, you know, and involvement. Can you say, from each other, each of us, you know? And hey, we're here to play music, to feel something, to give what we feel to people, and that love, that's it, you know? So that's the concept behind Bombay Makossa, of course. Bombay, hey, Bombay, and how about Makossa? It's Africa, huge continent, huge culture, and there are similarities. I want to end with that between India and Africa. You see what I mean? Talking about rhythm, talking about some 6/8 kind of, talking about all the Konakol, talking about. So there are so many things, so many genres, so many whatever that we can create together, you know, and bring something up which is just that not, you know, that actually, I don't know if this concept of Africa and India has ever been somewhere. I've never heard a concept like that, but we're still digging it, and we're going to come up with something. I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, I can't wait for more of it. So last night there was some friendly banter going on in this very room, and Mr. Barrett mentioned about the next dimension.
Yeah.
Right. So could you talk a little bit about that setting and what is it going to sound like without Sir McLaughlin?
It's going to sound like something next. Something next means new. That's, you know, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we loved to play together. Okay. Gary Husband, keyboard player of the band, keyboard and drummer because he plays drum too with John McLaughlin, and he stayed in the band for maybe 17 years with John. Yeah. I did 15. Yeah. Ranjit Bai did 13. So playing with some people from, let's say, 13 years when Ranjit got in the band, that's a lot of time, you know, we spent together, you know, doing not only music, eating, you know, sipping, some, you know, and so that gives us, and Ranjit got his culture, I got my culture, Gary Husband got his universe, you know. So we're trying to bring the three universe together and trying to come up with something. So I don't think we will meet John, of course, you know, we could invite him for a jam or whatever. Okay. So, yeah, of course, but we want to make something, just the three of us, and maybe get some guests, you know, like Sean Freeman, why not? Like who else? Like Nastia G, you know, invite her. John, why not? I don't know, Winter Marsalis, I don't know whom, but, and try to, it's like we don't look for any support from, you know, we are mature enough, you know, we are, and we want to go to do something together. And after we cook, we do the cooking, what can we add? Yeah. Is there something missing? Do we need guests? Yeah. We may not need guests as well, you know? Yeah. It depends on what we're going to cook together. So the concept is on. Some songs are already, you know, between us. We're sending some information. And that's what we're doing pretty much, you know? But it's going to be a great concept as well, this one, you know, next dimension. That we call next
dimension.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah.
It is for us too, you know, and also challenging, you know, because when you call something next dimension, people are, you're waiting, like, okay, show us that next dimension then. You see what I mean? So it's challenging and, we love challenge, you know, we love challenge still today, you know, all of the three of us, we passed 60 and we still love challenge, like kids, you know, we love kidding, we love having fun, playing, we love doing all that, so.
Great, sounds good. So I'd like to come to the last part of our agenda. Let's talk about something lighter, a very quick rapid fire with you, Étienne and Sean. So you can choose to speak in unison if you'd like.
Will do.
All right. So first question for you. What is that one song that always makes you cry?
Ooh. Wow. You have yours?
After the love is gone.
Yeah, this is a good one, but I don't have a song in mind. I would say the seventh sonata of Beethoven, played on piano. Da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. Sonata of Beethoven played on piano.
All right.
Remark you made, weather report.
Yeah.
A remark you made. You know,
Yeah.
Jacko's bass.
Oh,
if
yeah.
if that doesn't cut through into your heart, then you're not human. You know. I kind of say after the love's gone as a joke, but it's a beautiful, enormous fan.
Shall I add just that?
Yeah, sure.
Something that makes you cry is something that touches you deeply. You see what I mean? So every melody that touches you deeply, when it's perfectly, can make me cry. Actually,
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. On the contrary, what's your favorite guilty pleasure song?
I don't feel guilty listening to any music.
Me neither, of course. I don't know. I mean, if I like it, I like it. Why should I feel guilty of what? Sometimes I listen even to this guy from, where was he from? He was speaking a horse like this. It was from Korea, North Korea. We used to call them Bang Bang, whatever that was,
Oh, Gangnam Style.
Yeah, Gangnam Style.
I know what you're talking about.
You see what I mean? It's just, music is not, this is a question they used to ask me when I'm in Cameroon that year.
Right.
Do you listen to our traditional music still? This boom, boom, boom going on radio? Say, yes. When I'm in, go out with friends in the nightclub, I dance it. What do you think? You think that, it's not a question of notes or melody, whatever. Sometimes Gangnam Style, you're into it because you're having fun.
Yeah.
And having fun is just, it's having fun.
Sure.
Is there any, shall I be ashamed because I'm having fun on Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
That's, the music that, to have fun, I would listen to it easily, and I will fake the horse as well, and that's it.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Awesome. If you had the chance to put together an all-star fusion band, who would be in it? You have a lot of money, guys. You can pick people from any era.
Oh, we have a lot of money. Can we, the dead people, can we bring them back?
Yes, you can bring them back to life. Yeah,
Right, of course.
you have that superpower too.
You haven't got enough tape. You haven't got a big enough battery. No.
Or for me, all the music that I love, all the musicians that I respected, like Miles, of course, Miles and on trumpet, or shall I say the Frugal Train on saxophone, shall I say, or maybe a modern drum. There are so many great musicians, band is, I would be on bass.
Beautiful.
That's all I know.
Beautiful.
Cool. If I had to say someone, he just passed recently, and it's an homage to him because I'm such a big fan of his music.
Okay.
Always was.
Okay.
And I would love to have played with him, but it never came to pass. He did play, however, with Gary. It's Gary's project that was the Force Majeure, and this is the keyboardist Jim Beard, American Jim Beard, just passed a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
A wonderful, amazing soul, but I really adored his compositions are just incredible. So many beautiful little details, and also often some childish things in there. You have to hear the music to understand what I'm saying. But I would love to bring him back, and I'd love to have played with him. But that,
Great choice.
Just
Great choice.
never came to me.
Good choice. What are the top 2 qualities of a teacher that you both personally embody at this point?
I'm a teacher myself. I teach a musical university in Switzerland, in Lausanne, haute école de musique, and a teacher is there to teach. It's not knowing, it's transmission, actually, transmission. As I received it from people who aren't certified like teacher, they gave me, the thing to keep me like, I want to still play this. You see what I mean? That's about a teacher,
Okay.
It's knowing how to touch your student and to give him not to tell him, that's not right. No, don't do that. No, your finger is not good. No.
Yeah.
It's to give him the strength and the how do you call it, the willing to keep on practicing, and that's what I think is the best teacher.
Nice.
Yeah, I would reiterate what Étienne's just said. That's the old school way with the cane, and 50 lines. That works for some people, maybe, but not for everyone.
Yeah.
And this is a project that's built ultimately out of love. We're talking about the relationship with the individual and the instrument. Okay. You can't give too much positive critique.
Right.
And there are so many ways to skin a cat. So be constructive, but be sweet. You know, be empathetic and be constructive with your criticism. You know, two ways you can say everything.
Yeah.
You know, don't do that
Yeah.
or do something different. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important lesson that you can impart on students, so that they always feel, you know, positive. Because when you say no, doors close, options become lesser. You know, and it's all about having open doors and more options.
Right on.
So stay positive.
Right on.
Be sweet.
One last question for today, gentlemen.
Yep.
Down in the distant horizon, what would you like to be remembered as?
What people want to. You don't know what people will remember of you, but you know, if they still listen to my music and still say, wow, and maybe some discovering and say, wow, who was that guy? Oh, he passed, oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just like a great human being that I'm trying to be every day, you know, and a great musician as well, you know, who tried his best to do so, you know, in his style, great melodies, great chords, great music, whatever style he played, and of course a great bass player. I'm not saying the best. I don't know what that means for me. The best is to come still. You see, you're the best today. Maybe tomorrow there's another one. So who's best? Who's not best? You know, just to give that love to people. And if I'm remembered for that, that's when, you know, I'll be happy wherever I will be.
Beautiful.
You know, again, I'm going to say I reiterate what Étienne says. You know, and I don't like the term perfect. I don't like the term perfectionist either. I believe what that is if one tries one's best, that's it. You know, there is no best guitarist in the world. There is no best saxophone player. You know, it's not a quantitative thing like that. You can't put a number on it. But if you try your best, and your question was, well, how would I like to be remembered? Just someone that mostly tried his best. So,
Marvelous.
and that's it.
Great answer for a closure. This interview will be additionally aired on Big FM Shillong and Azol, two incredible radio stations in the northeastern part of India. It'll also be out on my YouTube channel, Aditya Veera 1994, and all major audio streaming platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Aditya, sir.
It's been such an incredible blessing to have you both. And have a great show tonight. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.